Hello and welcome back to the latest episode of the Meet Me in Africa podcast. My name's Colin Taylor, and this week I'm really excited to be talking about the 2025 UCI Road Cycling World Championships, which were held in Kigali, Rwanda. It was the first time that this sort of event was held in an African country. So the collective eyes of the cycling world were focused on Rwanda, and they didn't let anyone down. It was a brilliant event. I really enjoyed watching all of the events through the week. I'm very grateful to have a couple of guests on the podcast this week. I haven't been able to talk directly with them, but they've sent some messages in. So firstly, I've got Alex Hancock Tomlin, who was there watching the events on the last weekend, the two road races. And I've also got Pascal Ndizeye. So he is the boss of a Rwandan-based cycling team, Java-Inovotec. That's a men's team. He's also the boss of a women's cycling team as well. So he's sent some messages to me, which you'll hear talking about his reflection through the week, and also more widely what he gets up to with his teams, where they're training, what sort of racing they do. He's been also managing the volunteers in Kigali, Rwanda for the championships last week. So you hear from him on that too. So the first half of the week, as I said in the last episode, was focused on the time trials. There was some amazing results and great cycling on that city centre circuit, which included the climbs, particularly the Côte de Kimihurura, the cobbled section, which we came to be very familiar with. The time trials actually started in the convention centre in Kigali with the dim lights and the drumming and the cheering, really adding to the atmosphere.
World Championship is good.
Wow. We are celebrating to hosting the World Championship as Rwandan. We are happy because we are hosting a lot of people from other countries.
Okay, so you're going to hear now from Alex talking about the last weekend of racing.
Hi, Colin. Greetings from East Africa. I'm currently now just left Kigali. I'm in Bwindi Forest, which is just over the border in Uganda. It's been a fantastic weekend of cycling for the UCI World Championships. The atmosphere was genuinely one of the best atmospheres I've ever been to of any sporting event ever. The Rwandans really did their country proud. The whole streets were lined, absolutely packed, as probably everyone saw on the news and on TV and things. The race was obviously dominated by main man Tadej Pogacar for the men's road race. But we had some very good performances as well from Ben Healy from Ireland, managed to come third in the end. He put in a very strong performance. We had Tom Pidcock racing. Again, we had big hopes for him, and he did pretty well. He just ran out of steam at the end. I think the last couple of laps, he really started to struggle. And we had Remco, the winner of the time trial earlier in the week, coming second. Sadly, suffered a bit of a mechanical issue quite early on in the race, actually, and he didn't quite manage to recover from that. Otherwise, he would have probably been pushing Pogacar all the way from the line, but the atmosphere was incredible. And it was a really, really good advertisement for cycling, and reasons why they should bring more cycling events to Africa. And I think Rwanda did itself proud. It's a great country, very, very friendly people, very, very clean. It's one thing I was very surprised about. The infrastructure was extremely good. The weather was great, maybe not so great for cycling. I know some of the cyclists struggled a bit in the heat. But really, really good fun. So this is my first time visiting Rwanda, actually. So I've lived in Uganda for, coming on to 2 years now. It's the first time I've ventured over there. It's about a 9-hour drive from Kampala in Uganda over to Kigali. It's a great country in Rwanda, and I'll happily visit again. But back in Uganda now, you might be able to hear the rainforest in the background. I'm in a place called Bwindi Forest, Impenetrable Forest. Which is definitely worth a look on Google. Heading back to Kampala tomorrow. It's just a stop off on our way back. And Uganda also had a cyclist called Charles Kagimu who represented them at the championships. Sadly, didn't finish, but that's no shame at all, considering I think of the 160 riders that competed. only about 30 finished the whole race anyway. So there's no shame in that at all. And Kagima was very strong in the peloton for most of the race. Just the last few laps, I think, caught up with them a bit. But yeah, and likewise with some of the Rwandan cyclists, they did themselves really proud. They had one who went for a bit of a sprint start, and a couple of others who were really strong up on the climb of the Mur de Kigali, which is probably my highlight of the race. We went over there to watch it. Very steep cobbled road, fantastic to watch some of the climbers go up that.
Yeah, so I was glued to the coverage last Sunday watching all of the men's race and pretty much all of the women's race on the Saturday too. But yeah, what really struck me was that middle longer lap where the riders went up Mount Kigali on the bigger loop, that 5.9 kilometre climb up, 6.9% average. That was where Pogacar launched his attack. But yeah, just before that, it was really the epic crowds leading up to Mount Kigali. So it seemed like they were going a little bit out of the city centre, and just the volume of people there on the roads. I think the UCI were estimating anywhere between 1 to 1.5 million spectators on the route. So yeah, it was jam-packed. And then, as I say, going up Mount Kigali, I think some of the riders really felt the pain of the route at that point, that accumulated climbing. And yeah, Pogacar just launched off with Del Toro, the Mexican, and Juan Ayuso, the Spanish rider, all currently UAE team riders. Ayuso eventually, I think the pace was a bit too much for him, and even Del Toro, the younger rider, couldn't keep up towards the end. After about 70 kilometers to go, Pogacar launched off. I also heard that some of the crowds, perhaps down to the schools being off last week, so the schools closed and just allowed, for one thing, the traffic to ease through the city, but also the children to enjoy the events. So yeah, that's perhaps a good move from the local authorities. Okay, so now over to Pascal and Ndizeye.
Hello, my name is Pascal Ndizeye. I'm a team manager and the owner of Java-Inovotec Pro Team and another young team of women called Ngarama Women Cycling Team. In the Kigali 2025 World Championship, I was team leader of the volunteers, and we appreciated that all it went well. Is organized. It was marvelous, and what I can say, it was well organized, well prepared, and we thank UCI to trust on us to host this amazing event. We're hoping from now on and in the future we can have a good cycling family around. We are calling upon other teams, a pro team, to come and do some training in Rwanda. We have a good climate. We have good mountains for descending and climbing, and we have all kind of the road up countries where we can train much better. The wonderful road is not in the city center in Kigali, but even up countries we have a good road, like where our team is based in East Africa, in the place called Nyagatare, and the road are very smooth and well maintained. And this hour of the evening on Friday, I have visited our cycling academy in Ngarama, so where we are setting up VPC, which is Virtual Performance Center, where we'll install 12 Zwift machines that will assist our young riders to get to the next level is where we are now. We hoping tomorrow on Saturday, all machines will be up and running. All riders can start using the machines, and we are calling other riders around the country to come enjoy this tech center. It will be the first kind established in Rwanda and established in Africa. So we are calling all other African nations to come and utilize this center. So it is not going to be just for our center alone. We are also calling other African teams to come and use this virtual performing center.
Thank you, Pascal. So what does the rest of the year look like for your team, Java-Inovotec? What's the next race that your team will be going to? And will you be sending riders going to the just announced, I believe, the African Continental Road Cycling Championships to be held in Kenya again on the 19th to the 23rd of November, I believe, in Kwale County near Mombasa?
Thank you so much for bringing up that question. We were really waited for a very long time to hear when the African Championship will be held, and we are so happy that is happening again in East Africa, and where we can send more riders. I'm hoping that this year Java-Inovotec will have more riders on the Africans Championship. We are hoping that also we can send junior women from Ngarama Women Cycling Team to participate in the African Championship. Yes, the news we had, the African Championship will be hosted in the east coast of Kenya, in the city called Kware, is 10 kilometers from Mombasa. We are really happy to have that championship hosted in East Africa, and personally I will be there to cheer out Team Rwanda, and also to make comfortable of our young women team that will be participating there, so the riders can be feel comfortable, because always I'm with them here locally. So even when they are with me, or when they see me around, they can performing well. Definitely this year Java-Inovotec will concentrate on developing young riders, junior and under 23. We will not register as a continental team 2026. However, on the 2027, we will come back stronger, where we will have many riders that can perform well. As today in Rwanda, we are way back behind on the under 23 riders. We don't have much, but that's why we are setting up this virtual performing center, so we can have more competitive young riders who will be joining Continental Team 2027.
Thank you very much, Pascal, for those answers. Please, could you also tell me a little bit more about yourself? How long have you been involved in cycling? And when did you become the boss of Java-Inovotec? And also, how did you get involved in the volunteer manager role for the World Championships cycling? Thank you.
Wow, that's a long story back. Cycling is part of my life and family. I remember back years when I was very young on the P1, which is primary one. My big brother said, if you become number one or number two in the class, I will buy you a bicycle. And then I worked hard on the P2, then I became number one. So that's where he bought me a bicycle. And then from that day, I used to ride it to go to school. Our village is in the remote area, which is called Ngarama in the Gatsibo district. So the bicycle is our daily means of transporting goods and transporting people. And so from that time is where I start enjoying a bicycle. But to be much involved in the pro teams, I used to be another team that called Mohazi. Mohazi, it was a team set up by people coming from East Province. And then I used it to bring cyclists to the race on my own and by assisted by other people in Mohazi, like president of Mohazi. That time I was vice president. And then I saw that many Rwanda riders were riding abroad, are coming back to Rwanda, and some of them are quitting being riders, pro riders. Some of them came direct to me and say, can you please take us in Mohazin? Then we had not much means. Then some of them decided that I could establish a team. But in that time, it was around COVID 2021. And those pro riders from abroad, they had their own bicycle. I told them, yes, let me try and do a proper team for you. So that's where we started a team with Areruya Joseph, who was the top African champion, and also the pro rider was coming from Italy, and a couple of other former pro riders. Then is where the Java-Inovotec started, is where even the name been established. So is innovations and technology in cycling. That is the meaning of Inovotec, is innovations and technology. That's why today we are setting up VPC Center. So is a team that based on technology. So the team started in 2022 as a pro team up to date. So, but as we grow, and when I saw that we are lacking of the riders, is where I decided, is a time that we can develop new young people that will replace those former riders like Areruya, Patrick Byukusenge, Eric Karadio, Etienne. So when this group exits cycling, then we can be able to have another well-performing young riders. So how I joined and established the team. We did not have any sponsorship, so any money to buy equipment to take the riders to the race, all were coming from my pocket up to date. Is where we just received the support from Zwift to give us equipment. No money, but they give us 12 Zwift. Then we had to pay a taxi to bring them to Rwanda and transport. So I thank them very much. That's how I become, what you say, boss of Java, is because of those pro rider we requested that I can set up a team for them.
Well, thanks once again to Pascal and to Alex earlier on. Really make the podcast this week, and yeah, it's great to hear a bit more about the cycling events and the teams and the people and what it means over there. I'm a lover of cycling, and I think there's a lot of people showing love for cycling over in Rwanda and beyond in Africa. The pictures were amazing on Instagram. So if nothing else, please go and have a look at our channel, Meet Me in Africa podcast on Instagram. If you have a look at the highlights in there, I've saved some videos, just a little snapshot of the amazing pictures from Kigali, Rwanda last week. So that's it for now. Thank you for listening. Follow Instagram at Meet Me in Africa podcast. Like and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify. Thank you very much.